Well, okay, we are going to get another round of something to think about today.
Yeah.
We're excited about it. We know we got good stuff to talk about.
Yes.
And what we want you guys to do is understand that we want your feedback too. So you tell us something, because there's all kind of weird stuff going on. We're going to address some of it today.
Right.
But before we get into that, everybody just introduce themselves, our panel here.
Tony Caldwell.
Pastor John McCain.
Layla.
And of course, I'm Janice. So we are going to be into this conversation today, have some fun with it. And but before we get into that part, I want to turn it over to Pastor John so he can shell out some compliments.
Oh, we just want to say a special congratulations to Aaliyah Coppage.
Yes.
She has made the
First cut.
of the volleyball
Right,
team.
lady.
Yeah.
Go.
We need you to come back and see us. We had
Need
such
you to
a
come
good
back
time.
really, really soon.
Yes, that's
Can't wait to go to your
terrific.
games.
That's terrific. And all of you already know that Layla is a senior now, so she'll be starting.
Congratulations, Layla, senior. All right.
And the kind of person that Layla
Prom's
is.
coming.
Yes.
Oh, goodness, don't
Don't
even
start.
mention
Oh,
prom.
I already got my dress. I already got my dress. I already got my dress. I already know what type of
'Cause
colors I'm having. I already
when
know who
Layla
I
goes
might
shopping,
She
you can
goes
hang
shopping.
on to every dime you have.
Oh, Lord.
save up. She gonna ask y'all for some money soon.
That's all right. We got you.
Well, on
She
top
already
of
knows she
that,
has
I
to
mean, we've been
prepare for
talking
you
about the
this
prom
year.
for Layla
For
long before her brother went to the
yeah,
prom.
Layla been ready what, a year?
Don't act a fool, cause you gonna act a fool with my brother, and I don't need that. Cause my older brother already gonna act. He already told me he gonna act a fool. But don't let me have a date, Lord.
Uh-oh.
You could, Lord.
You have to sneak them in the back door because
Yeah.
There's no back door. You gonna have to climb up
well.
the patio.
Well, in that case,
He gonna have to come through the front door.
we have to wish him there. So whoever your date is at that time, they have to know they're up for a challenge because
Exactly.
they've been doing that to her since she was a little girl.
Oh wow, very protective.
But that's how they do girls. And one of the conversations we're going to have in just a few is about that kind of thing. The attachment that women have to their sons
Yeah.
and the feeling, emotions that they go through with just because it is their son and they don't want him to be with this woman and that person or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. We're also going to talk about some OCD behavior that you may not have even thought about. And I am one of the ones who hadn't thought about this particular kind of OCD. But we'll define what that is in a few minutes as well. And after that, we're just going to talk about what's coming up, what's going on, what everybody is doing so that we can inform and educate.
All right.
I love it.
But before that, and you know, this is like the elephant in the room. Everybody's talking about it, so we got to talk about it too.
Oh,
What am I talking about? Alabama.
the chair.
The chair. And you know what I was amazed by?
What?
Is the fact that that happened like right now.
Yeah.
And in like 10 minutes, somebody had a T-shirt, somebody had a tattoo, somebody had something else that was going on with
They
them.
made earrings.
Memes. And how do they do that so quickly? I don't know.
Technology.
But see how much money they made.
Just that quick.
Somebody is going to possibly get rich off of making the chair.
Yeah.
Because they've even taken it to DC with the big chair and
You know
said
what?
they made a meme about the big chair and said maybe they want to come here and get this chair next time.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody gonna have that chair is getting famous. I know they probably sold out right
But
now.
of
Home
all the
Depot.
things that they were
Yeah.
doing, and it was such a mixture of different actions going on in the videos that I saw, wonder why that was the thing that stood out more. I mean, it wasn't that, you know, one of the people hit this woman and knocked her in the water. It wasn't that. And it wasn't I know they've spoken a little bit about the guy who got off a boat and swam across so he could be a part of that.
Aquaman. Aquaman.
Yeah, they call him.
His name's Aquaman.
That's what they
Shout
call
out
him.
to Aquaman.
That's what they call
Shout
him.
out to him.
So now he's Aquaman.
Yeah.
No, not man.
Not man.
Maine.
what's up,
M-A-Y-N-E. Yes.
And that's probably how I said it in Montgomery, huh?
Aquaman.
That's my main.
That's my mind.
Don't get me started.
But that means that this guy was really pressed to get over there.
He was
Yeah, he
dedicated,
was.
I tell you.
He was.
He was
a
the only one that
dedicated
jumped in the
soldier.
water. And he
The
seen
only
it.
one, and you just saw him swimming. I can just pick.
Because he was on the other boat.
He was going just like that. It was
That's what
hilarious.
And they say we can't swim, but he swam that day.
He swam. Oh, there you go. You went there.
Yep.
Oh,
there.
goodness.
Say we couldn't swim, but
But
he
we swam.
He
we
swam.
Well, that's the thing that was killing me because I really hadn't thought of any more about it. I figured it was
Right.
just another
Oh,
No.
melee with people, you know,
Right.
mad in Alabama of all places.
they call it the brawl.
But then I was looking at TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and I saw these two white guys on there, and one of them said, well, I want to go on record as letting you guys know that the white people started this and they went and got their ass kicked.
Oh, wow.
Because it didn't even have to be like that.
No.
But they did it.
It wasn't necessary,
No, it
but
wasn't.
What
most
was it?
fights
What was
aren't.
it about? I mean, does
They was
anybody
blocking
know
the-
what it was about?
They was blocking, it was security guard. That's why I started. And they was blocking
Dog.
the dock. And when the main other boat, whatever they call it, platoon or whatever, they wasn't supposed to be there. And the security guard was telling them to move. So they going back and forth like this. When the man was telling him he was doing his job, move your boat. And so he was pushing it out of the way. And that's when Papa Smurf and all his little gargamel children came over there and did what they did. And that's what happened.
Not Papa Smurf.
Yes. Papa Smurf and his little minions.
So
that's what happened.
It's Gaga Minions.
Gargamel and Gargamels.
So the guy on TikTok said, well, I guess, guys, after you've seen what happened, that you don't want to come to Montgomery and bring your troubles over here because y'all don't even live here.
Right.
So they were denouncing all of that stuff. And don't say it was Montgomery because it wasn't us. But that shows you just where we are right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
society.
It does.
And this other guy on there, he can't stand Donald Trump. And I think the sound of his name just really makes him mad.
Right. I think that
This is real life, everybody.
Yes.
yeah.
And he knew, he said he wanted to just tell I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but it was Trump-la Fs. The Trump-la Fs. He said, I got to tell you something. You want to come up here and you want to try to start some kind of little civil war?
Yeah.
He said, you look at that tape from Alabama and you'll see. It's not going to be easy for you.
No.
There you go.
Because there's
Oh,
been
my
so much
God.
stuff happening that people are not going to take it. They got to realize we're tired of all this rhetoric. We're tired of all this stupid political mess going on because we just can't get along with each other.
Right.
It's okay we don't get along, but don't keep going against my barrier. Don't do that. I got boundaries. I'm going to respect yours, respect mine. But people tired. So they putting the fisticuffs up and I'm glad they hit it with their hands and not with a gun.
I know. That's what
That's
was,
an old fashioned fight.
That's what was different.
I was happy about that. So
That's what
That
was
was
different
so
about it
funny.
because it wasn't a shootout.
and I'm glad about
It
that.
just looked like an episode of Jerry Springer.
the chair.
That's what it really looked like with the chair and everything.
Oh yeah, they did
But
that.
it was just funny how you seen the cops and them security guards. They wasn't even trying to break the
No.
fight up. That was
Sometimes
like
you
what
gotta get
got
your energy
me.
out, and then I guess
They
that was
didn't wanna be hit.
Until Unc got that chair and that was like, okay, now you gotta calm down.
Did y'all see the man Crocs though?
Yes, bro. This man Crocs look
That
like
was a
booty shorts. They
crocodile.
was all the way. This man's Crocs. They was talking for
They
real.
look like
They
the
was
crocodile
talking.
side of his mouth.
Yes.
When it done bones just showing like this, I was like,
Them Crocs
Them
had
Crocs
me
was-
crying. I was like, I know that man toe
them
hurt.
toes
Them
was
toes
them toes went like this.
Oh, the Crocs were too small.
No, they beat the
they-
Crocs. They beat his feet through the Crocs. The Crocs was up there little ankle like this. I said, "Oh my goodness!" That
He
the
was
funniest
laying on the
part.
floor, them
He was
Crocs
laying-
like this on his
the Crocs like
ankle.
this, like the tongue was hanging out. They
And then
said,
they hit somebody and knocked them in the water and they had to climb up on the other side.
Them girls was over here beating that girl so bad. She swung her into the water.
Yeah,
and then one dude jumped into the water because he ain't want to fight.
"Yeah, he did." I seen that one too.
He was done fighting. And
He
someone
was like, "I wasn't in it." Yes,
They
he
was
was.
fighting.
Well, this
They
is
was-
not the Montgomery that we knew about years ago.
Years ago,
No.
no.
That was
But I
funny.
said, well, it's no way we can have a podcast today and not talk about that because it's
Exactly.
all over the place.
Yes, it is.
And I don't condone any kind of violence and hurting
yes.
people and doing all that
Definitely
stuff.
not.
And we really need to figure out a way to deal with anger.
Yes.
And the thing about anger is that it's a normal emotion. And people don't see it as, okay, it's okay for me to be angry.
Yeah.
It's what I do with that anger that causes the problem. Mm-hmm. So I can tell somebody, and I have many times, that is making me angry.
Yeah.
And I'll say it just like that. Mm-hmm. I don't go running after them and want to choke them and pull their tongues out and all that stuff. I'm just telling you that at the moment, the emotion I'm feeling is anger.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they don't know how to back away from it.
Right.
They don't. That's the thing is
Right.
that's a boundary thing that's still coming in. Back away from because I admit I have an anger problem, but I know what stemmed from. I know why I got anger and understanding behind the anger, but and knowing when to pull away because I go up there and I be hard. But now I do the steps of just pull back. Or I just walk away like, I don't want to have this conversation no more because it's not going to settle nothing. So come back with cooler heads prevail.
I don't believe I have an anger problem. but I have been told from multiple people. But the thing is, I explained to them, I won't act this way if you don't do it. Or if you don't do this. You know? Because people are dumb.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, they're dumb.
You tell them.
So if I have enough common sense to not do what they do,
right,
and I'm telling them, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they not listening to the first time I said it. So now I got to go up to my 60 and be like, yo.
60? You think it's a little more than that?
No, because no one going to get me all the way up to 100.
Oh, we don't want that.
No, we don't want to. We don't want to see
we can see it in your
100.
eyes.
And all that sounds fine until somebody pulls up beside me while I'm driving and do something weird. And then there's that pissed off part of her that comes out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got that passenger road
She's not
rage.
necessarily angry, but boy, is she pissed off.
Yeah. Because you bring that out of us. You know that, right?
No, it wasn't even her fault this time.
No, I do like that
While I'm driving?
Cause we driving, right? And and she trying to get on the other side because she was about to miss the turn.
Okay.
So this dude stopped, right? This dude stopped to let her go. And I'm like, all right, you can go. But then when I told her that, the dude wanted to turn around. And I'm like the dude wanted to he drove around her after he just stopped. I'm like,
right.
She lucky it wasn't a light. Because on God, if it was a light, I would have said something. That's just me. But it's just like,
they do dumb stuff like that.
it's just like, but you seen her, like you was going to let her go.
And then
why did you change your mind?
You know, and now he's in a hurry.
Right.
He gotta be
Like, what you in a
everywhere
hurry
in the next
for?
5 seconds.
Right.
Your car over here looking like a big blueberry.
But I want to say this so I don't forget about that.
What?
And it's just to men. And I know that people say to me all the time, well, you don't like men, do you?
No.
I like a certain type of man. So let's clear that up right now.
Go ahead, Miss
I
Janice.
like a certain type of man. And when you cross the line of the kind that I like, then you mean nothing to me.
There you go.
But I want to say to the guys,
Like men
wherever you're going, pace yourself. Leave earlier. And stop trying to bully women because we are not taking that stuff.
No.
And you'll end up busting up your car and busting up mine just because you want to hear your twin mufflers, glare.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. I mean, we're just trying to be safe here.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling them, don't do that.
Right.
Okay. Exactly.
So I want them to just stop. Don't be in, you got your man thing that you have to do it.
Calm the road rage down.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
Calm all the rage down.
Rage down.
Put your guns down. You don't have to shoot and kill somebody just because you are having an anger issue.
Exactly.
Can I pick my bat up?
Yes.
Okay.
That's allowed.
I'm gonna pick my
You got
bat
a
up.
little one or a big one?
And
A big metal one.
we're gonna
I
have
love bats too.
then we're gonna have T-shirts with your bat on it.
Yes. With your arm like this raised up.
I know.
Yeah.
Hit the
I was
bat.
this close. Man, I was so mad. I ordered DoorDash, not
You use your
the
bat when they-
DoorDash
Oh.
thing situation. No,
Okay.
I was at home, and I texted the person I was getting my DoorDash. I specifically said, "Can I get my vinaigrette dressing?
Right.
When you go in there, can you please get my vinaigrette dressing? It's from Chipotle." I was like, "No," because I just know I have a feeling they not gonna give me my dressing.
Vinaigrette.
So I get my bag. I'm like, look. If they don't give me my bag, somebody windshield about to get broken in. Because no, they don't understand. That vinaigrette on that Chipotle bowl, it's just a different hit.
Destroying
You gonna make me
personal
try it?
It's
property.
just
Put it
so
on there.
good. and then you eat.
I've had that. I know what you're talking about. It's awesome.
Hits.
Yeah, it does.
You gotta eat.
Yeah, you never had
You'll
the
act the
vinaigrette
same. You'll act the same way I do.
By accident, I said, "Let me dip this sauce." She's right. I must market that.
Now,
with her.
if you try that, you'll understand why I want to beat.
Tell me
But
you gotta tell me what kind of stuff to get with it, though. Okay.
No, just get your regular bowl, and then just put the vinaigrette on there. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I don't eat anything from Chipotle.
You don't? It's good.
You don't even like
Well, of
tacos like
course,
that.
for people who like it is.
Tacos.
But I don't like it.
I don't have to have it, but the vinaigrette makes you want to eat it. It's really
That is so good. And you can eat if you want, like you could just get the vinaigrette. And if you want a salad, you can eat a salad with it.
Do you normally eat at Chipotle?
Once in a while.
Oh, okay.
I don't really eat it no.
But we're not trying to do a commercial for them.
No,
That's for
we're
sure.
Unless you're gonna sponsor us.
But
It's
your
something
point
to think
was,
about.
Layla, what was your point for the audience, the world out there?
I don't even remember my point. But
About that.
The bad.
But all I know is, yeah, they drove off before I can even go out there. I had the door open and everything. I was like, where is my vinaigrette? But they decided now they want to drive off because any other time they want to act slow when getting their car.
But I mean, she can automatically explode into the kind of wildfires that they had in Hawaii lately.
Okay.
She goes from Alaska, where there's a lot of snow and coldness and all that, right to Hawaii with the wildfires.
Gotcha.
She reminds me of my sister because my sister was the same way. She could go from 0 to hello, how are you doing today?
And I can go right
To
back
right
down.
around your throat.
Yeah.
I'm like, cut it out.
And I've been called bipolar so many times because of that. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's just I was mad at this second. Now I'm not.
There you go.
Right.
So many terms for different things that can happen. So we're going to go into this other term.
Uh-oh.
OCD.
OCD, obsessive
Compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you have to explain to somebody what that really is.
Right.
And what that really is, it's what? What is obsessive compulsive disorder?
Keep repeating the same action over and over. And
Well, that's
over again.
insanity.
Yeah. But it all kind of.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're on to
I know.
definition of it. Yeah.
But I didn't realize just how much depth is involved in OCD behavior until someone pointed out that I have OCD and it's with people.
I know people like that too.
Because I want to correct what's wrong and make them better and change their quality of life and all that. So in a way that is the same kind of compulsiveness. So I didn't realize that until she said it. And I was like, oh, well, you might be right. But other OCD behavior are the kind of things that would drive me nuts. I mean, I like to have things in order. I like to have structure, all of that. But what I don't like is that if I'm sitting here and I just have this bottle here, but I need a coaster under it, and that person will go find me one and come over and do this. And see, I'm ready to say to them, which I have said, is you could have just given me the coaster.
Yeah, and don't.
Put it on the table if you want me to use it. You have to stay off of my bottle because I'm drinking out of it.
That's right.
But when their behavior just spills over onto me like that, I can't condone it pretty much.
And it's uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of older people was like that. Back in the South, you know how they don't move, don't go sit in that chair. That chair have been in there since 1825.
Yeah.
And with plastic on it.
Yeah.
You know, they did a lot of stuff like that because it's always kind of like preserving something.
Yeah, and somebody told me that they used to sell the furniture with plastic on it.
They did.
They did?
I remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
You
then
can
when
even
did
get it on there. They did. I seen it.
But also, when
Why would
they
I-
have some
Why
type
would I
of
want some-
nerve, if you selling a couch or something with plastic on it, and if you just think like how many people been on this chair
Sat
and
there
been,
behind.
so now they're trying to clean, they're trying to have a deep clean on that. But how can you deep clean this plastic?
And the worst time was
gotta-
summertime.
Oh, my
Miss Janice,
goodness.
I know you remember them
Your legs
days.
stick to the
Stick there like
sofa.
this. You be like this. You be sitting up there like this and stay cool and yet. Oh,
Your
it's
legs
horrible.
stick to the sofa, so when you get ready to get up, it sounds like a pop.
Yep, big old, you got a big old wet spot on there, and but they would go in there and get that
I
little thing
hate
and
that.
clean it.
I hate when you just sit down, you get up and you see them thigh spots just on that chair.
Yes.
That happened to me in summer school when I tell you, I was like, oh
a mess.
Lord. And then it's like I'm sitting in between people. So I'm like, it's a person right here in front of me and it's a person behind me.
Compulsive disorder.
So when we get up to have our break, and I look down, I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Hopefully this person don't see that.
Right.
Because that's highly embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay,
It
we all
is,
know
but what you
it's
expect
hot.
when you're sitting on plastic.
But it's embarrassing though.
Right.
It's just
It
embarrassing.
doesn't stop it from being embarrassing. You're absolutely right about it.
And then you feel all damp and everything.
Yeah.
Interesting. The definition here, I didn't realize that. But they're saying that when you have OCD, you have intrusive thoughts that tell you it
Something
feels the need to
incompleted.
perform certain routines repeatedly to relieve the distress
Yeah.
that you have.
I mean, I do it when I leave the house.
What is that? What
It's like a repeat
are some of the
action.
things that we do
Like-
that we don't even know?
Like, I think every time I leave the house, the stove's on. I had walked almost to my bus stop and came
Gotcha.
back. Check it. I checked the house. I checked the stove like 3 times before I
Yeah, but
leave.
that's different.
Yeah.
No, but
That's
this
the
is something
time where it's
that's
just-
stuck here.
Well, yeah, and in a way, it is kind of an intrusive kind of thing.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
like
do.
that every morning. I have to go back and lock the door. So I have to kind of like, okay, let it go. I check it that one time and I learned to just get out as soon as
Yeah.
I
So
finish.
you mean you check it multiple times?
Yeah,
even
I check
after
it like
you've
3
done
times
it?
before I leave out.
Gotcha.
I went out, came back, went out, came. I was like, this
Well,
is
you know
your
the
thoughts are
kind
coming
that
back.
irritates me though.
What?
It's like I was at a person's house, and we had just eaten lunch at her table.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up, and I just normally would take the chair and move it sort of back to the table.
right.
Well, everybody else had gotten up, and it was just her in the room moving chairs around. So she came to the table, and now this chair had to be just like this.
That's crazy.
Even
Yeah.
with this.
Sound like my aunt.
And then she went around the table and did each chair that way. So I saw her doing it, and I'm like, what are you doing exactly?
Right.
She said, I don't know. It's just something about me where I feel like they need to be equal.
Yeah.
I said, and you do that every time your family gets up from, eating or whatever? Yeah, because I want, if that chair is on that side, I need it to be right in front of the one that's on this side.
Yeah.
I said, otherwise, what will you do? She said, I can't stand it.
Yeah. It throws them off.
Yeah, because the thing is, we could laugh at it if we want to, but it's a serious,
yeah.
a serious thing that you have to deal
It's
with.
very serious.
Yeah.
And
And it.
to some extent, my son has it, but I noticed that people who have it have different levels
Levels
They do.
of severity
OCD.
for it.
Because some people take medication for it too.
Well, and his is that he wants things to be in a line or straight up and even. All of my clothes need to be just like this. And
Right.
so
Color
he has
coordinated and
that
stuff.
kind.
Oh, okay.
But if you go in his room sometimes, and you would see that he's not necessarily OCD for like cleaning up the room.
Right,
But
right.
it is in order.
It's in order. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you know what it would look like? Did you see all those cars covered with soot and ash in Hawaii where they
Yeah.
all sat there and looked like they were made of clay? That's how his room looked.
Oh wow. Wow.
Sorry, Daryl, I didn't mean to tell anybody about that.
But you
And
know
now
what?
the whole world.
Now the whole world is really looking at this.
But
They
you know
will
what?
after I'm done with it.
All right.
But you know
go
what?
ahead.
OCD.
Do your thing.
You know what? With OCD people too, I realized something that I had to correct myself, and maybe it was just a personal thing that when I got a problem solved that was in my personal thing, do you know I went and collected the same type of people that the situation that I was going in. So I had to stop that. I said, wait a minute, this is a pattern. You know what I'm talking about? So you talking about collecting people. I was collecting OCD people that was going stuff. It's like, okay, you done did yours and kind of solve it. So what you doing? Going right back into another thing. So I had to correct myself on that.
Well, the thing is, and as you were doing research there, did it give you any types of OCD behavior?
I believe it did.
Because I'm telling you, we used to do this to a guy I know, and now we know that we shouldn't have. That it was a real illness or condition or whatever you want to brand it as. But we would be sitting at his house listening to music and everybody drinking beer or smoking cigarettes or whatever. And so the ashtray would be there. And if you were smoking, when you finished, you put it in the ashtray.
Right.
Well, as soon as one cigarette was in that ashtray, he had to come and get it and clean it out.
Yes.
So we kept doing that for a while
But I'm like that.
just to
I
see
was
how
like that.
just to see how
I
much he
just
would.
couldn't
Wow.
stand looking at the intrusive thought told me when I looked at a cigarette or whatever, I wanted to flush it down the toilet or get it out. I just hate looking at them. Like if they're on the ground wet, I just have to OCD them away from me and step over them. I do.
Well, I know that if I do have that condition, as was pointed out to me, and if that's what it is, and I feel like I want people to be better,
I don't see
I'm
anything
probably
wrong
not
with
going to do anything about that.
No.
Because for some reason, that's just in my DNA.
But I don't, do you really think that's OCD? Are you having intrusive thoughts about making them better?
Yes.
Oh, so
That's
then
OCD?
that's
No?
OCD.
Her
Yes.
OCD is pretty
Because
bad
if
when
I
it comes
see a
to
thing
people.
that's messed up, I feel like I need to do something about it.
Well, then that is OCD all the way.
But do you know they have guilt and panic attacks too?
Yeah. That's just what I was reading.
Isolation.
Yeah.
They
Social isolation.
Fear of being blasphemous.
Yep, nightmares. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
That's crazy if you would got that.
I hope he didn't catch
Y'all
that.
see the dance?
That was funny.
That was good.
That's all right if they
That's
catch
all right
it.
if
That's
they catch it.
right.
They
If
can
it
see
makes
us
them
being
laugh.
human.
Yes.
My man.
You mean?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Your main.
Well, let's see if we can get your man up here to be part of the podcast.
Oh, he has a lot to talk about.
Oh, well,
he
then
is
bring
like
it.
a talker. Like when I tell
Don't
you,
you
if
know
you like, she's a talker, but he will have a full blown like they back and forth, back and forth, back
know
and
people
forth.
Oh, wow.
He loves to talk, especially
Yeah.
if it's something he's passionate about, which he's passionate about everything, and I just love that about him. Sorry, go ahead.
Right.
But yeah, we're not going to get into that.
No, I could literally do a whole podcast on by myself on him.
Oh,
just on him.
wow. Then you need to
Because
start
he's
your
just
own
a
little
very
podcast.
talented person. And it's just,
Sounds so wonderful.
he is a wonderful person.
That's great.
And he has a lot of different talents, and so does she. So they shouldn't get on each other's nerves so much.
No, it's y'all always have
They're
something to talk
artistic,
about,
creative people.
Yeah.
and you are very much that.
Yes. I say that too.
Damn beautiful.
she keeps saying you're saying it wrong.
No, I said it my way.
Exactly. You're just like her, gonna switch it.
Hell of a beautiful girl.
Hell of a. Just wonderful.
But it's amazing too the different levels of beauty that is seen through somebody else's eyes.
That is true.
Because they look at this person and you say to yourself, why do those two ugly people
Just go
really get
together.
together?
Right.
But to them, that person looks good.
And they just bright. That's all they see. That's all they can see is them. So that's beautiful. That
It
is beautiful. And nothing ugly about
No.
it. Yeah.
Did you see the movie Shallow Hal?
Yes.
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 I thought that was
That
hilarious.
was Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jack Black.
Jack Black. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He pictured her. She was an oversized.
Yeah.
She was actually oversized. I mean, plump.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was fat.
She was
Yeah.
fat. Yeah. I was trying to be
I
politically
know you're
correct.
trying to be politically correct, but
Don't
we're
get canceled now. You gotta be
Yeah,
careful. You
yeah.
have to be careful
Yes.
with
it's
what
not
you
being
say.
recorded, right?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You
Tell
know
them to
that
take that out.
too. Come on now.
We want that out.
You can't-
No,
I
they will
don't-
cancel. Yes.
I don't
They will do
condone.
that.
The comments expressed by
Well, here's the thing that I have to say about them canceling something just because
Right.
they don't like a word you used. Is the word is there to be used.
Yeah.
If you don't use it for people who are fat, when will you use
it?
Just the fat on your steak,
Ain't nothing wrong with fat on
the
steak.
fat that's
That
in
fat is
margarine.
good. With some good old
That's the A1 sauce.
A1
Yeah.
sauce. Put that A1 sauce on
That
that.
is good.
I hate to get off on a tangent, but the
Lord.
fat on a piece of steak is heavenly.
Ain't it
is so
heavenly?
good.
Ooh, it's all
is.
tender.
I don't care what nobody
It
says.
adds to the flavor.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
does.
does.
And the
Because
texture.
when they
And
cut all of it
thank
out,
you.
that texture.
Man,
is
so,
gone.
ain't it good? Ooh.
when they cut all of it out,
I'd be mad.
I'm like, where my
Where my
fat
fat
at?
at?
it's not as good.
It's not.
No,
as
it
good.
just. Oh.
It just shrinks the steak.
Sweat. I'm starting to sweat over here thinking,
Calm down.
You're
that
right.
steak.
Calm down. Calm down.
It can't be that way.
Can't be.
can't
It's
do
just
So
Calm down.
go ahead.
Calm
You got
down.
a point to make.
just
Go ahead.
good.
she's real passionate about the
She's
fat on
real
the steak.
passionate about
Yeah.
Passionate about steak too,
Yes.
but I don't like it if they just cut
Just
all
cut
of
it
the
off.
all of the
And just give
goodness
you
out
a
of
round
it.
piece
Right.
of filet.
Yeah.
Just give me
Filet mignon.
Give me all that gristle.
The other part, that gristle and
That
everything.
gristle on
that's
it.
hanging
Because
over
the gristle
there.
like chewing gum a little bit later on. You know.
You just
Oh well.
spit it out after.
Well,
There you
that brings up another point.
What?
What?
That if you have eaten so much that you've outgrown your current wardrobe, then I would like for our panel to discuss how much
can't
sense
discuss.
does it
I
make
can't.
for you to go buy the same size knowing that you're 3 times bigger than you were when you bought that shirt?
You have fun discussing that. I will be sitting this one out.
Why is that?
I have nothing to say about that.
Oh, okay.
That's their choice. They decided they want to grow
That's
out
their
thing.
choice,
That's
but
their
I'm
choice.
just saying, if you're walking out the door trying to look good, how you look good with everything look like it's stressed? The same thing. If I take this blouse right now and pull it apart, now it looks like what happened?
We gonna get
We gonna get what?
nothing.
What? Cancel culture?
Cause gonna be sending stuff to our email like all our doors.
Well, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
I invite the
But it's good to
trash.
have a healthy
That'll make us
conversation.
more famous.
I mean, it's good to have a conversation like that. I think some people they done been called so many things that it's a confidence thing, though. It takes a confident person to be able to wear
To
that.
confidently wear clothes
To
that
wear
are too
clothes.
tight.
No, if they feel confident in that. No, it does.
I think those are people that need to get a new mirror.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe that, but you gotta admit though, it takes a certain confidence level to be able. If you're gonna go
does.
out there like that, that takes a certain amount of confidence to do.
I have a specific
But I'm not
person
sure
in
it's
mind.
confidence either when
know
they go
that's
leave
right.
out, but they mad at you because you identified them as a fat person or a skinny one,
Yeah, I mean it's the yin and yang
a short
of it.
one or a tall one.
It's just the way of life. I mean, some people just to them that's their that's how they
But do
feel
you
beautiful.
know? But do you? And I'm sure you've seen instances like this. Where you see somebody yourself outside when you're doing stuff, and you say something, "Oh my God, why did they come out with that?"
yeah,
Yeah.
And that person is going to try to cover up
they
the
do.
fact that they heard you whisper to somebody.
Yeah, and it
that
hurts.
you look like crap. So then when they go home, they're going to be thinking about that all night.
That's what happened to me at elementary school.
That happened to me too.
Yeah, it was so many people talking about me because they identified me as fat.
You?
Me, I was really chubby as a child. Though.
Oh, okay.
I was chubby as a child, and
But
then
she
it doesn't
was
make
a
it
cute
better
child.
that my father put me in that long skirt that went all the way down to the floor. That did not make it better.
No.
So that whole 3rd to 4th grade year, a bunch of people talk about me.
Well, I'd like to know what in the world brought on this whole high level of sensitivity. You used to be able to just say anything you
can't-
wanted to say, and you could just have to deal with somebody punching you in the face if that's the case.
Social
Right.
media.
But now I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
What? Get over that.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Like you said, you got to be honest with yourself. Because one time I know I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked good in the front. I turned around and looked at the back. I said, big back and flat. That just was not going for me. But you do got to be honest with yourself. Like you said, it's society has made us cringy and talking to each other. Like we can't talk. And I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
Can't say anything.
It's like Steve Harvey said on the Family Feud one day. He
Oh
said,
Lord, Steve Harvey.
he said, people who wear, if you want to, he said, skinny jeans are made for people who are skinny. Not everybody. So if you're not skinny, you don't wear skinny jeans because you're going to look like a muffin.
Yeah, and I did too. And I realized my butt was in front. I just being realistic with myself. And if I can move this back there, I'd be happy. But I looked at myself, that's not a happy look, Tony.
No.
Your stomach look like it's doing like this.
Right.
One up and one down. Realistic with yourself. I was like, my stomach and my behind having a conversation. They was rapping like this. I was like this. Oh, poor thing. So just get stuff kind of glides over.
There you go.
But you know the thing is that if you had the most beautiful person you've ever seen, where you thought everything was in order, those people have such inferiority complex.
Yes, they do.
Something that's cracking Layla up. What's going on?
When she say that was so funny.
Yeah, because it was true, yo.
No, because she said my back big and my butt flat, and then she said my stomach and butt is having a come.
Yeah, it was. That day was not. I was not feeling it. But you're right, though. You gotta have a realistic. You gotta be honest with yourself. If you don't look right in something, be honest. It's not that you hurt yourself, but the best thing you can do as a person is be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And my body had too many conversations,
And
so they done learn to quiet down a little bit.
You know that if you have on a what's the one, the halter top?
Crop top.
Oh, crop top.
If you have that on, and it really was made for somebody who's a size 12, and now you're 16 or whatever, and you have all of this just popping out the top of it if you move.
It'll pop out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that's a wardrobe problem right there.
Yeah, it is.
We either need some
wardrobe
straps on
malfunction.
it or we need to take it off.
But yeah, you're right, and you need to put on clothes. I think that you'll feel better when you on something comfortable that make you look good, because it does. The body, mind, and spirit is truly a vessel that needs to kind of work with each other. But when one going this way and the other going that way, and the back doing like that, that ain't working. So that's just
Yeah, that asymmetric look.
yeah. You be like, your body trying to have a dance and you standing still.
You feel like that.
So that's a problem, huh?
You did like that.
Yeah, shoot, I realize, man.
My brother used to look at some women and say, well, you know what that looks like? Everybody, what? It looks like two little boys wrestling under the cover.
You know what? Oh,
Lord.
it'd be true. I mean, just be you're right.
But then you have those women who are really small, and and maybe they don't want to be that small.
Yeah, some of them don't.
But they're really small, so they go by, but their feet didn't stop growing.
oh,
So they will have little, really tiny
Walking
legs.
around looking like an
And then
applejack.
put on a pair of boots. What did it look like, Tony?
I'm trying to figure.
High top boots.
Yeah,
Little leg.
yeah.
Olive oil.
I don't get
Oh,
it.
boy, there you go.
Oh,
But the thing about it is you just have to accept the way that you are and,
Yeah.
and get comfortable with it if you
Yeah.
are. Because it's like me. I've been trying to lose weight since day one, since I had my first child. Haven't been able to lose it since then. I've done everything. And my son finally said, Ma, why don't you stop worrying about it?
Yay, that's
You
right.
just be the way you are.
Yeah, fabulous.
And I thought about it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, accepting your own skin.
And I accepted it. And so now if somebody say, oh, that lady fat, I'm like, you know it.
so
She's
is your
trying to
dead
lose it
mammy.
for
Yeah,
years.
for real.
Oh, Lord.
Oops. No, I'm not going to say that.
I would.
She already said.
It's been said.
Yeah.
Well, if you take a criticism and turn it into this is I accept what you're talking
Exactly.
about, then you can go out there and be criticized for whatever
Yeah.
it is. Your hair too short, too long, your skin too bright, too dark, whatever it is. If you accept it, then they can't hurt you anymore
can't
because
hurt
you've
you.
said that to yourself over and over.
And stop
Yeah.
beating yourself up.
Just like in your case, if you looked at yourself and said, hey, this looks fine, and somebody go out and say, well, look at that. It looks like your stomach is talking to you behind. You already know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then my other mouth would have said, you want your lip to meet your eye too? So,
No, one time I was in 8th grade. This
Wow.
dude tried to fake press me out or whatever, talking about he was like, your hair don't match the color. I'm like, He was like, you got acne. I was like, thank you.
oh, really?
He was like, your teeth crooked. I'm like, and okay. What is
Yeah,
and I was just like, what's your point in saying that?
you want to ask him, is this the beginning or the ending of the book that you're writing?
right.
It's the end because I never had a conversation after that. It was barely a conversation. He's
It
the
was
one mainly
criticism.
right. I'm like, what is this
And then you
for?
look-
Well, the other thing is guys will do that kind of stuff because they don't feel like you're going to talk to them. So they get their embarrassment and rejection out of the way ahead of time.
But you know it's crazy.
When really, if she
Right.
had said, you really are a nice looking guy, could I have your number?
And the thing was, he was not ugly. That was the whole kid. He wasn't ugly. But
But he just wanted to come over there.
after he told me that, guess what? I took two of his friends.
Oh,
Two of his friends came to me and we had a little conversation.
there you go.
Yeah, he don't ever know that I had his friends though.
Well, that's the
So
thing
your
about
friends
you
don't
is
think I'm
that you
ugly.
handle your
you go.
business.
Yes, she did.
And I'm proud of you for that.
Me too.
Especially as a young person to have that confidence like that.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
But it wasn't even just confident. It was just like I know what I got. So it's like you pointed out just makes this. This makes this
So what are you
unnecessary.
doing? Trying to caption my sadness about it?
Right.
Like, I don't even.
When they know you don't care, you know you can move on.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just confidence that a lot of kids don't have now, and they'll take whatever little part. Anybody, not just kids, but that little doubt can just mess up somebody's head.
Yes.
That's the crazy part about it. So
But
certain
what
things
fixes that? I mean, aside from if you're a person and you're wearing ill-fitting apparel, aside from that, how do you teach your child, your cousin, your relatives, or whoever is having this feeling? How do you just say to them what Layla was just mentioning a minute ago? Just accept what you think are your faults.
building it up from day one.
And you have to build them up.
You have to let them get them affirmations, if I'm trying to say the right word.
right.
That I'm beautiful no matter what. You just gotta kind of give them examples of society, and you gotta tell them that when they little, so they grow up feeling that. That is
But
in
you
their
gotta,
bones.
but you gotta continuously say that though,
All the
because no matter how much you say it to them as a child, when they get older and around other people who
Exactly.
have different views, then now you gotta continuously be like, you're this, you're that, so
You
they
have to.
know.
Repetitious.
Right.
I mean,
That's
But
true.
even still, it's just like
Yeah.
sometimes coming from a family
Parent,
member,
it's just not.
it's just not enough
No,
to
it's
some
not.
people because they like, oh, you my family, of course you're
You,
gonna
of
say
course,
this.
you're gonna say
Yeah,
that.
but you gotta have. Hopefully that they will pick them type of people around them that's gonna be able to
Supportive,
support
exactly.
them. So you always gotta have a support group and stuff like this.
And I think that's
Very
particularly
intelligent.
important when you have an ugly child. And you know the child is ugly.
Right.
You have to start with those affirmations early.
Oh Lord.
Because
Can't believe
we going down.
you can't believe that I said ugly.
No, it's some ugly children.
No, they're all ugly.
Okay,
That means beautiful people that's ugly too.
how about instead of saying ugly, let's just say we see unique looking people.
Oh, I'm not going to say
say
that
that. You
because
have
they're
to
just
say
plain ugly.
Okay, but
beautiful-
unique can be another word for ugly in the
Unique
same
can be
sentence.
that you're different from everybody else and all that. But
Right,
seriously,
different, ugly.
when you have an ugly baby and you know you've seen them, no sense of dressing it up. It's
Yeah.
like putting
can't
lipstick
say
on a
that.
pig. Thing is, if they look a certain way, you know that they're going to be ridiculed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had some people that's close to me, and I was like, "This is from my DNA." I'm not gonna say nothing else, but I done basically said it.
I don't mean any harm.
but they got.
babies. I mean,
Oh, baby's not cute. I know some
No,
of them
they
weren't
aren't.
cute. And some of my
There's some
grand- I
babies
said
cute.
some of my grandkids. I looked at my grandchild. I was like, ooh.
Some babies look 40 at the age of 1
They
month.
did look like they done had a drink and a cigar when they came out. Baby like this. Where's my drink at? I done seen babies like that.
That's what I heard somebody say. We were in the nursery one time. Some guy said, "That boy right there looks like he need a drink."
Yeah. The baby came out like this.
mercy.
Baby like this. Put his little head up. This was on TikTok. Look. I said, "You little fresh neck thing. Where you been at?" Come out looking like they 95 years old. Done had Social Security check coming in.
The way my mother used to deal with all these discrepancies of whether you were
That
big
was
or
funny.
small or
Social Security
nice looking
check.
or not so good looking is when people would come in the house and they looked at this one and said, oh, you are so cute. You are
Right.
really cute. And let me go in my pocket and give you some money.
Yeah.
But over here, they didn't want to give me any money because I didn't look as good as that one. So my mother said, if you want to give her a quarter, you should have one for everybody in here.
That's right.
And that's what I'm talking about, starting early so that you
That
don't
is so
have to
true.
wear those kind of clothes or feel that kind of way or put on gallons of makeup.
Right.
You don't have to do that.
Right.
That's only because you're trying to fit in with everything
everybody
else
Everybody
you've
else's
seen.
Yeah.
definition of beauty.
So you can buy the right size clothes and still look very
Still look
good
very
and
good.
fashionable.
Yep.
So you don't have to be busting out of stuff.
And so you
Right.
feel comfortable in your own skin.
Precisely.
Precisely.
You have to be. It's a level of comfort that everybody needs.
Exactly.
And because but it keep you leveled. that you're able to kind of focus and I'm trying to have a conversation. This is the most important conversation in my life. I don't want nobody going like this. I want you to look me in the eye. I want to feel confident when I'm talking to you, and it'll come out better. That's just the way it's. I mean, that's just.
Well, you need to be confident because the fact is that no one is what's described as perfect.
Right.
Correct.
And therefore, I don't strive for that level of acceptance from anybody.
Exactly.
Right.
I've already reached the pinnacle of my success with that. And I'm comfortable with me.
All
I
right.
know that. That's right.
And a lot of people will come and say, oh, she's arrogant and she's a narcissistic kind of person. Well,
'Cause you're confident.
thank you for that information. Doesn't mean that I believe in it or I'm going to act like it just because you said it.
'Cause you said
but
it,
thank
right.
you. And a lot of times those two words will just get you out of any uncomfortable situation.
Yeah. Deflect arguments.
Layla was
yeah.
saying earlier. Well, you think that I look this way and that way? Thank you.
Thank
appreciate
you very much.
it.
I appreciate
you paying me that much attention.
Yeah.
I
That
knew
much
I had it
attention
like
that
that.
Right. And I'm always in your
picked me
thoughts.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that kind of person must have thought, that guy thought she was obviously attractive because he kept trying to pick a flaw. That meant
And he
was
couldn't
looking-
find one.
Right. So he tried to pick
But turn
something
it on
that
them.
wasn't really a
But if
flaw.
you turn it on them, watch how they act.
Exactly.
So it ain't even worth going through the tit and tap of
No.
it. Trying, you be like, okay, thank you. I'm in your thought like that, anime.
But that was like the second day of school.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
hi.
But that's the same reason why, girls would have their pigtails pulled because the guy really liked
He
them. and
really
all.
liked them.
So we know what it is.
That's how me and my man got together. Let me stop.
goodness.
Let me stop.
Oh, goodness.
We can't wait to get on that subject.
What's
So-
that? We not talking about that.
Pastor John, you got
Yes.
any wisdom that you want to share with people on these subjects or new subject, if you wish?
Well, I just want to say that God, we are all fearfully and wonderfully made.
Hey.
And God created us all in his image, according to his likeness. So what that means is that we are created in the image of God himself. So, and we all look different, just like I believe that the angels all look different in the heavens. We don't know how God looks or any of them look for that matter, but we can tell that they look like us. So we are all beautiful in our own way or unique, as Layla said,
Right.
Or ugly?
or ugly,
And beautiful people can be ugly too.
or ugly.
They can be
Because if
beautiful.
you're ugly on the inside, you're ugly on the outside. Remember
Sometimes.
that.
Because you I think like you said, Miss Janice, it's just getting comfortable. Like you said, and wonderfully made. That it's so good to be different. I don't want to be like nobody else.
Right.
To me, that's why I love culture and different religions and different this and different that. Because to me, we all can learn something from each other.
Yes.
So you unique. I'm gonna take that word. I like that.
I like it too.
Made differently, and
That's
you
right.
and you're ugly. Color purple come up. I'm
If
thinking
you're
about
ugly,
that.
you just
You're ugly. I mean, beautiful people can be ugly. I've seen some monsters that look beautiful.
Oh, Lord.
I've seen beautiful monsters.
Me too.
What about you, Layla?
Yes,
Any
Mrs.
words you want to share with us?
Good, Miss Tammy.
Just be you. That's all I'm
I like
saying.
that one later.
Always.
I
Just
like
be
that.
you.
Me too.
Trouble is that so many people have difficulty defining who they are.
Right.
And that's what
all.
these podcasts are for. We're going to show you how you can identify who you are.
Yes.
And as my last comment on things, it has nothing to do with anything we've talked about. But I want to get on record as saying this one thing,
What?
and that is this. If we all worship the same God, why are we having so much trouble
Oh.
working with each other in a church environment? Why is that? I've heard people say, "Oh well, Sunday is the loneliest day in the week because all of the churches are separated." But why is that? I mean, everything I've heard, it was for God to want us to work together.
That's correct.
And so what I'm going to say as a final point today, give you something to think about as this podcast ends, and that is find a way to get along with people rather than looking for a reason not to.
Hey,
Because somebody stepped on your white tennis shoes, brush it off and keep going. And I know people who clean the bottom of their shoes because they don't like the dirt and stuff that accumulates there. Take care of your things, but understand you're in the middle of millions of people.
Exactly.
Can we just put the guns down?
Yes.
If you feel bad about what somebody did to you, talk to someone who can help you work through that.
That's right.
And young people with guns, please give them up.
Please.
Please. We went through many decades of friends and family, and as old as I am and as old as the next person might be, we weren't at each other's throats the same way. And we weren't riding around killing people just for nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I would like to do is put in a special plea for you. Whatever is driving you to that kind of behavior, please talk to someone.
Yes.
Find somebody in a church, in a recreation center, a neighbor on the corner that you've seen do things. Please stop this madness. We don't need to be shooting children at 12 years old, 5, 6 years old.
That's right.
And if there were any way for me to just say these words over and over every day, that's what I would do.
Yes.
Because you're already empowered with so many talents. You don't even have to worry about it. It's already there.
Right.
So why is your talent, I want to be a murderer? And why is your talent, I want to die young?
Mm-hmm.
And I have no time.
So I want to ask all of you with guns, if you just like to play with them, make sure they're not loaded. Keep them near you. If you fear that somebody else with a gun is going to come and take something of yours, keep them near you for that purpose. But you don't need to fight each other out in the street and shooting and mass killings of 8 to 10 people and 16 more got hurt from the violence
Just
that
the
you
violence.
brought in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
So,
Every day.
and if I can say this every day, I will.
Yes.
If I
Yes.
just put this on repeat and have it on something every day.
Yeah.
Because the thing that we talked about earlier and a lot of other circumstances allude to this same thing. It is something that these children want and need,
Yes.
and we're not giving it to them.
We're
That's right.
And we ought to be ashamed of ourselves as
Right.
adults.
Yes.
But the sad news is we're not.
No. We're not even trying to
So-
break that generational curse.
We would love to, but we know that it's going to be difficult with
Yes.
just the few of us.
Yeah.
We need everybody to be on the same page.
That's right.
So I want to encourage all you parents to get with your kids, talk to them, find out what's going on, and take them out to the park. That costs no money at all.
None. Amen.
Don't find a reason not to be close to your children.
That's
Right.
right.
That's what I'm trying to get point.
That's
Because
right.
believe me, with you with them, they're going to do much less damage to themselves and anybody else. If I'm a mother and I have a 12-year-old and my 12-year-old dies before me,
Yes.
that is a sad statement to make.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I will ever be able to live with that.
Wow.
Yes.
So at another day and another time, I'm going to be right back at you about the same thing.
That's right.
Because until we make a loud voice about this,
It's never going to
we're
stop.
going to lose more of them.
And we're going to lose more people.
So is it possible for us to make a loud noise as we get on our way? We'll
Yeah.
tell you that if you want to communicate with us, you can by going to
www.somethingtothinkaboutpod.com.
all right,
Hey.
then, and we'll make our loud noise now, and then we're going to say
Ooh,
bye.
stop it.